Good morning, hello, happy Tuesday, everyone. Let's see. Today we're continuing to work on the Asteroids clone in Rust and GGEZ. King Milo? Hello, good morning. How are you doing today? What I'm working on today is this lives left. Very well, it's currently 11 p.m. in Sydney. Awesome. Well, late at night, so I understand if you have to drop off to go to bed, but it's awesome to have you here. It's awesome to see everybody around the world too, because normally, well, except now when I'm just stuck inside and I can't really talk to anybody. Normally we're only able to like chat with people around us physically. So I love hanging out with all of you all around the world. It's a lot of fun. It's also a lot interesting to sort of see the cultures of different technologies, how people are using them. Okay, so I had an idea of how to do the lives left thing, because I want to say that in our main library, we have a resource with the lives left. Is that true? Lives remaining right here. Yeah, definitely. And so then do we have a helper for that? If we don't, we should write one. So get lives left. Okay, so we have the helper to get the lives left. Then what I'm thinking, what we can do is have a resource that creates the sort of like the lives left graphic, the mesh for that, and then we can insert that into the world. Yeah, I think that would work out just well for us. So in our main library, we could have a function to do that once, to like insert the basic one. So function, oh, here it is, create lives left. So world spawn entity, we have a location. I'm thinking we don't need a message for this. We could just do the graphic. So if we think about it, we need a location. And let me see about this. We need, for our systems with draw, in order to have this system draw it out, we need something with a location, a rotation, and a mesh. I think that may be all we need then. So back to here, we have a location. We would need a rotation, which I'm gonna say would be a 0, and then a mesh. We don't need any of the rest of this stuff. So we need a rotation. And you would be 0.0 F32. And then we need the mesh. So we're probably gonna want a helper to build the mesh for us, like build the lives left mesh. So let's create that. All right, so pub function, create lives left mesh. We're going to take in, we need a context. And then we need the lives left. Which is going to be U32. And we're going to return a result with the mesh inside. So how is this going to work? We're going to create our mesh. We're going to do the thing that we did before. We're going to create a mesh to a mesh builder view. And then we're going to mutate that based upon the number of lives left. So then we can loop through this. So for, and now that we have this mesh, I guess I'll do the return at the end. So for count in 0 lives left, probably do a little bit of multiplication using that. Okay, so that gives us this. Then I want to create a triangle facing upwards, starting from like the 0 position, because we're having 0 rotation. So that should make it easy. And then we're gonna move like move to the right from there. So if I have my, let's say I'm doing a triangle like this. The bottom left triangle is gonna have to be the one that's like closest to the left, maybe like plus 5 pixels. So if I do, and I want it to be smaller than the player, so I don't want it to be in the way. So we're gonna do a mesh dot, probably a polyline. What's the difference? In polygon, create a new mesh for a closed polygon. Okay, I think I only need 2 of the lines then. It will finish the 3rd one automatically. Whereas polyline is just, well, just a line. So do a draw mode. I'm gonna fill you. Okay, points. So points here is just going to be a simple array of X and Y. So basically like this. So we're going to have the X position, and let's say I do the top middle. So I'm going to have like whatever the width is. So that let's make our like just our size equals, let's do something like 10 pixels, sort of like see how this feels. And we're gonna have a margin. Ooh, my tea is finished brewing. Still a little bit hot. Okay, so with those two, then we can say in here for our X, for the top middle, it's going to be margin plus half the size. And then for the Y, I want this to be, I want everything to be sort of like shifted down. I don't have to shift it myself. So I want this to be at 0, 0. Oh, let's have it be margin down. So we're just gonna have margin. All right, next one. I want down and to the left. So that's gonna be just the margin for the X, and then I want size down. Yeah, I think that makes sense. And then for the bottom right, we're gonna have margin plus the full size, not just half, and then size. So if I do that, then we'll have a reference to these points to draw in, and we'll make you white. Okay, so this adds in one of them. Actually, it's going to add in one of them, but then we need to, for the X side, the Y side's going to remain the same. For the X side, I want to take all of you and then multiply you by the count as an F32. And that should shift it all over to the right. Okay, so that should create like 3, 5, however many lives I have, triangles. And then I need to build it. And that's going to be a result in the end. So we're going to do it. And okay, mesh.build, pass it in that context. We can question mark this here. And then there we go. Okay, that should make it happy. Are you red? Oh, because you don't know what mesh is. Import. Okay, that makes it happy. So now we can create the lives mesh left. So with component names mesh. And the data is going to be that mesh. So create. All right, so we need the context and we need lives left. Let's have these passed in here. So this will be context lives left, which is AU32. All right. Why are you upset? Oh, yes, you need to be question marked because that's a report, a result. Okay, so I think you're good. Then we're gonna run create lives left. Now you take context and the lives left. Chantilly, good morning. Do I have the lives remaining here? I don't think I do. I think I have this resource, lives remaining. Oh, I set it here to be like a 3. So if I do lives remaining, very serene music. I have it on like for Pretzel, like basically all of them. Okay, so lives remaining. There, that makes you happy. Okay, no errors. That's good. Lives remaining. Did I set you as a U32? I did. I could skip this song. Try the next one. Okay, so given that, it should now display like 3 of those. Oh, it's gonna be the top. No, it puts them in the right place. That doesn't look right. Our size, let's make you like 15, a little bit bigger. Our margin is fine. I was trying to do this as the X's, but I don't think this worked the way I wanted it to. So I want the top middle, and I want that to like be here, here, and here. So like top middle of the X is that margin plus the size divided by half, and then take that entire thing and multiply it by the count. So at first it's 0, so that's 0. Oh, 0 times this. I want something like that. Do I want like margin plus margin times? Let me, if we think about like the bottom left, let's say the bottom left is just going to be the margin, and so I want that to be a margin of like 5 on 0, and then I want that to be like the entire width of the next triangle plus another 5. For the next one. I wonder if I can get away with like doing those like paper doll type things. Have them like touching on the corner and not gapped by a space. So I can just draw, or how would it be? Oh no, because I couldn't do that. I couldn't draw. Okay, if I start in the bottom right, I could draw like that. Then draw again. Oh, it's like one of those weird things where I have to like figure out where I'm drawing. No, I don't think that's gonna work out very well. I couldn't do it with like one line, I don't think. So I need to draw this out. Okay, so I want, like, here's our interface. I want to basically have a triangle like this. Something like that, except better. So if here's our size, if our entire size is this thing, so that would be what? Let's say that this is like 10 width right here. And your 10 height too. Okay, so our width and our height, there's 10, like that. Then we have the margin of 5. So that's like a little gap in between here. And so on. That means it's going to be like 5 plus half of this. So 5 plus 5 is 10 total to get to here. And then 15 for this one. Now this one over here, this center spot. So this would be 5 plus half of the 10 gets to here. So that's what? This is going to be 15 by, and then I want to start this at like maybe the 5 down. Here, if we're at 15 here, we have another 0.5. We have another half of the width, so that's another 5. Then another 5, so that's 10, plus another half the width is another 5, so that's going to be 30. And then you're just going to be the 5 down. I don't think I'm doing that properly. I think if I figure out where the starting is and I save that into a variable, then I can multiply that Oh, I think I need to go. I think I then need to go based upon one. Okay, so instead of starting with 0, start with 1 on our loop. So multiplied by 1 is the same thing, so I'm not going to reset it back to 0. Let's go into the very end. So we're going to go into inclusive lives left. Let's also have our if I do the middle position, so like let middle it's like center X. If you're gonna be like the center spot on all these is gonna be our margin plus half of the size. So size divided by 2. King Milo, you need to head to sleep. You have an interview in the morning. Good luck in your interview. You'll be back sometime soon. Well, thank you so much for stopping by. Good luck with your interview. Let us know how it goes when you get back. Hopefully you get the job or whatever it is that you're that you're interviewing for. And yeah, good luck and have a good night. And then if we do center Y, you're going to be the margin plus size half. So no matter what, well, let's also take into account how this is going to change. So center Y is going to be just margin plus size divided by 2. But for the next triangle, I want to make sure that, because this is 5, this is 10. So that's 5, that brings me to 10. How did I get 15? 5 plus 5. This should be, if this is 10, how is this 15? This should be 10. And then another 5 would bring it to 15. And then their half of that bring it to 20. So apparently math is not my strong point here. Okay, so you're gonna stay the same for center Y, but for center X, for every single loop, so I can move you out of the loop because you're gonna be the same. For this one, we want to reset you to be our margin plus size divided by 2, and then we're going to take that and multiply by count as F32. Then for each of our points, we're going to use these. All right, so for our first top point, so the very top, that's going to be our center X. And then we're going to have center Y divided by 2. I mean, does that make sense? I mean, I think so, because I think I'm later on like translating it down to where I want it to be. No, because I have to give it the exact location of where this is going to be. Oh, wait, no. This is just the mesh. The mesh can be... The location is going to translate it over to where it needs to be. So this should be fine then. Where I can just do this relative to 0. So we'll just do this divided by 2. Then for this one, so bottom left, that's going to be our center X. This is just going to be our margin. And then we need the bottom, which is going to be our center Y times 2. Then for bottom right, that's going to be our center Y times 2, center X times 2. I have a feeling I'm still screwing up the math here. Okay, if I have our center X for like the exact, like the top point, that is, what if I just do this? Let's do this separately here. Let's do that top, like the middle top. Well, I guess like center X is what we care about here. Is that hits us there. And then we have our size. I almost don't want this to be considering the margin. Like I feel the margin is screwing me up. If I have my center X, if that's really just like size minus this. Okay, let's not have a margin at all. And then location's gonna deal with that. So if I don't do a margin at all, then we have our size. Center Y is just gonna be size divided by half, and that's gonna be fine for the center Y. For center X, that's gonna be size divided in half times count as F32. Okay, so that's gonna bring it over further. So then in our points, we're gonna have center X for the first top, and then center Y divided in half to go up. Okay. Then bottom left, we're gonna have 0. And then this is gonna be center Y times 2. And then bottom right is gonna be our, in this case, we don't have to use center times 2, we could just use size. And then bottom right is going to be our size. Oh, but I see. The size can be here. Center X does need to be times 2 here, because we're dealing with this. Although I feel like that might not be right. if I just do the math here, which is the size times the count as F32. I think that's screwing me up. Hold on. Let's just like redo this without that. That's what I get for doing math live on stream. Okay, so for that top center, I want the exact middle of and let's just imagine we're just doing this as like the first one we're going to multiply by the count as our sort of like to move over for each triangle. So if we have 0 divided by that, so that's going to be our size divided by 2. And then we're going to take that entire thing and multiply by count as F32. That's going to be our X, and then our Y is going to be our size divided by 2. Togglebit rating with a party of 104. Welcome, Togglebit. And welcome, Raiders. Are you in here? Did you make it past the all the advertisements? I don't really have a choice for those. They just sort of come in. You stepped on a leg on a way in. Oh no! Wait, no ads for. Oh right, Togglebit, you have a sub. Thank you so much for that. Also, and that's great. Let's go ahead and play the Get the Streamer game. We haven't played it with this many people in a long time. You think you made it? Awesome. Well, welcome, Kafk 25. So if you haven't played this before, this is a game we made live on stream. We'll be using instructions over here on the right. We'll be using chat to play, and then I'm gonna read chat also at the same time to see if I can chat with all of you guys. Talk a bit. What were we working on today? How did the stream go? Sounds right to you? Awesome. Oh, I want the heart. Oh. Oh, what? Who wrote this? Oh. I'm actually surviving a little bit longer than I thought. Oh, accidentally hit spacebar. Okay, just tank. I still have half the time left. Oh my gosh. Oh, I couldn't handle it. Epic Blarg with the highest number of hits there. So I don't think I saw a response. The sword seemed pretty good, so you just spam that. The sword, so they're all good in combination with each other. I found that if you just like spam only one, well, if only those are being spammed across by everybody, then it sucks. Toggle Bit, you're gonna head out and eat. Your brain is gravy at this point. Well, thank you so much again for the raid, and have a good meal and have a good rest of your day. You win again. Yes, that's a common thing. Okay, so I am in the middle of creating an Asteroids clone using Rust and GGEZ. And so I'm trying to create a mesh that's going to show the number of lives left that displays on the screen. And I'm like just constantly trying to figure out like the math. For some reason, the math today is just not with me brain wise. And I'm just like struggling when I probably shouldn't be on, like, where do I draw the points just to get little triangles on the screen to like display the lives left. So this is going to be the X point for the top middle of the triangle. So I have like my size, and I'm having equilateral triangle because that's just gonna make it easier. So size divided by half, that should be like the top part. So that's halfway over the X, and then times our count, so that way it's like repeated evenly. And then our size divided by half, that should be good for the Y. Okay, then for the bottom left, I want this to be 0 for the X, but 0 for the X, you have to then, because it can't always be 0 for the X, it has to be multiplied by the count. That's not going to work because 0 times the count is always going to be 0. So what if I put like 1? If I do, oh, plus, okay, I can do plus 0 count times the size. Okay, so you're gonna be 0 plus our size times the count as an F32. And then for the Y position, we're gonna make this be the size. And then the bottom right, that's gonna be our size plus, and then this entire thing. So size times count as F32. And then you're gonna be size again. So if I do this, I don't have any errors. Let's see how this looks. That looks beautiful. Don't you see them? They look exactly like the triangle that we'd expect them to be. Okay, that's no is the answer. I need the spacing between each of these, maybe. So if I do like an offset, the offset is going to be like what I'm going to be adding to each of these points. So if I just go ahead and pretend that we're not doing the offset here, our center X is going to be size divided by 2.0, and our for the X, and then size divided by 2.0. So above me, so if I'm doing like, let's say I do this as like the top left. Does that make sense? If I just do like a single triangle though, let's say I do a single triangle and we're at the edge of it. That would mean my top is going to be at 0. So I'm at 0. And my my width for this is, okay, my size divided by 2. Okay, that's good there. Then for the bottom left, I would be at 0 here and size down and the exact same thing. Now we're going to be at size left and size down. Okay, that would be our points. Okay. Now for an offset, so I can then add this in for each one. Our offset is going to be the entire size. So our size, let's go back to this being at 0. Our size times count as F32. And then all the X's, I'm going to add a size. Add an offset. So if I do that, how does it look? Now, with you back again, great lives left. Yeah, so I'm setting this with the location of where I want it to be. Let's see how this looks. Okay, that's looking a lot better. So that's giving us 3 lives. And then if I change us to have like 5 lives, because, you know, the game is hard. We have 5 lives there. Okay, that's looking pretty good. I like that. What? Okay, so it couldn't find. What did happen? I do have lives remaining coming into lives remaining, so that should be fine there. You are a U32. In my systems. Oh, and also I'm using a homemade ECS library or crate, just that I can sort of learn ECS a little bit better, how they're made behind the scenes. It doesn't have all the features and it's not great looking, but it doesn't use unsafe at all in any way. And there's a lot of sort of weird things that I have to do about that. There's a lot of interior mutability stuff that I've had to learn for it too, so we're using a lot of RC. But okay, I want to go into, wait, this is BBECS. Oh, not the helpers, I want the systems. And I want display message. So here's this what happened. Oh, right, I have like, this is based upon the number of lives left, but I don't need this anymore, because I'm doing, I have like the display for the number of lives that we have remaining. So we can change this up now. Basically, if it's 0, it's game over. And if it's anything greater than 0, so I think I can switch this out. If it can be let message is equal to, oh, and the message has to be a text. So we can do if lives remaining. So if you're greater than 0, then we're going to return a create message with our message being press enter to spawn ship. with a scale being, I think 75.0 is what we decided. Otherwise, if we're obviously not 0, rolling your own thing is kind of a streamer thing. You like it. It's like a big part of it though is also like learning and understanding and growing my Rust skills. I have found that doing this has like forced me into areas what I don't think I would have gotten to for a while. Like I don't think I was getting into an area where I had to use like ref cells for interior mutability, but now I am because I'm doing this. So yeah. Now that being said, in the future, like if I switch over to using Godot for a game engine and I wanted like some kind of ECS system for that and Godot didn't have it, I probably would use something like Specs or Hex instead of this because of like various other types that this just doesn't like. Every time I add a type, it's a lot of extra work to add in there. Okay, so the nice thing though is this ECS system, there's no dynamic dispatch. Everything is compile time, which should make it really fast, but it's not very memory. It uses a lot more memory. Okay, create message, else. Create our message. And so I'm almost thinking here, well, it doesn't really matter. Just do a creator message. This will be just game over. Let's see, 5.0. We all have heaps of memory nowadays anyways. I know. When I was playing around with Raspberry Pi 4s to like try to run games on that, it surprisingly was able to handle this. Oh, no semicolons. I want to do that. There we go. Increases text. Oh, expected stir. Well, fine then. If you just want to make it easy on myself, because like I programmed it nicely, sure. Just come back down here and just do that. There you go. Yeah, anyways, when I was playing around with Raspberry Pi 4s and doing games on it, I was running into bigger problems with the graphics card on there. Rather than like memory or CPU. Like those weren't being maxed out. It's just the graphics, like the integrated chip. All right, so now we can play this. We have 5 lives. This game is surprisingly hard. Now, I remember, I'm old enough that like I didn't play this in the arcades. I'm not that old, but I did love this game in like that old arcade section. It was one of my favorites. Despite that, I never was very good at it. All right, so we're at level 2. We haven't died yet. Let's go ahead and... Come on. You're up there now. Die. There we go. Okay. I didn't die. So I need a system. I forgot. I need a system to update that now. What did I do? No. Close. Okay. That. What did I do? What happened? Open up code again. Which code editor? I'm using VS Code. Let's see, and then I missed something else up here too. Oh, can someone tell you how to highlight a chunk of code and put a / / in front of each line? So if you just like highlight with your mouse, and you can just do Control or Command if you're on a Mac, and then /, and I'll just put a / in front of each line. So that's easy enough for that on VS Code. in IntelliJ, it should be the same in IntelliJ. Should be the same for everything except like Vim, or maybe like another text editor, which it will have its own, like you will have to create your own shortcuts for those. That being said, it shouldn't be that hard to deal with. Okay, so what am I doing? I am closing all of you, and we're gonna create a new system here. So we have system, and we're gonna have update lives remaining mesh. Get over into our mod. Okay. Oh, it worked. Awesome. It's easy enough to set up on Vim. Yeah, it's been a long time since I've set any of those up on Vim. I do, like, it's on my list to like go back and try Vim again, because I've seen so many other streamers use Vim, and it like just reminded me, oh man, I used to love doing that. Leader CC, or whatever you set it to. All right, so what are we doing here? We're doing a function update function. What language am I typing? FN. All right, so we know we're going to take the world, and this just needs to be a reference to the world. We are probably going to need the context because we need to like recreate the mesh. And then we're going to get lives left, but that's going to be a resource. So we're going to be able to get that out of these, so that we should be fine. We're going to have a result, which is an error result. Okay, I got that correctly. And we're not going to return anything inside. All right, so there we go. Okay, you use the Vim commenter library or plugin. There's so many good packages or libraries for Vim. All right, so if we have this, the first thing we're gonna need to do is get the number of lives that are left. I think so. I believe I have a helper for this, which is get lives left. Okay, perfect. So we can use that. Now the problem I've been running into is Rust Analyzer hasn't been finding this stuff for me. It's like let lives left is equal to get lives. Oh, here it is. Get lives left, and we pass in a reference to the world. There we go, and I have a U32 of the lives left. Okay, nice. Then I need to get mutable access to the I need to get mutable access to the world and update that. But I might as well update the, like, get the new mesh. So mesh, and it's gonna be create lives left mesh. We pass it a context, and we pass it in the lives left, and that gives us a mesh now. And then the nastiness starts. Okay, so then I need to query for and get out this thing. So we head back to our main library. We insert a entity into the world that just has these things, but we don't know that this is the one that we want, do we? So we need a marker here for this. So with component, if we need a marker, we need to update entity types. This is gonna be, let's call this lives mesh instead of lives. Back to here. Okay, with components, names, marker, string. Our data is going to be an entity types, lives mesh, string that. There we go. Okay, so now I want to query for essentially meshes and the markers. Meshes and markers. So that query equals our world dot query. It's gonna be a vector of names. Doesn't know how to pull that in, so I need to bring that in myself. Okay, names. I need a marker. And I need mesh. Okay, so I have our query, and now we need to like extract these out into their own variables. So let markers equal to query.get names marker string. I'm gonna unwrap you because you can never not be it. Meshes equals get names mesh to string you. Okay, so now I have a vector of our markers and the meshes. They're always going to be the same width. This because like that's just how we set things up. We can assert that and like defensively just to make sure that like assert equal that markers is equal to meshes. It's like you should always be equal, and if you're not, I need to crash and find out. A bad thing about Vim is once you get used to the keyboard controls, you want everything to behave the same way. Another interesting thing about Vim is if you ever like use somebody else's Vim, like all bets are off. Like it's impossible to use because like their setup is just going to be so different than anybody else's. That being said, if you like find somebody with like a VS Code, it's usually people haven't customized it to the degree that people customize like Vim with. It's like I just tried to go into insert mode and I deleted the entire file. What the heck? Why did you do that? All right. So we have this vector of component data. I need to loop through the markers until I find the index that we're looking for. So let's create a function to find that. So this is going to be find index of lives remaining mesh. So we're going to take in our markers, which is this reference to a vec. It's basically an array slice of component data like that, and we're going to return a result with a usize in it. Okay, so let's loop through all of our markers. So we're gonna do. I want to do an early exit, so I'm gonna do a for. I'm gonna get index and the current marker in markers dot iter dot enumerate. So that's going to give us our index and a marker for each one of these. Now we need to cast this marker out though. So marker, you're going to be a data wrapper with the type, markers are always strings, equals marker.cast. Once we have that cast, we can borrow and compare. So if a dereferenced marker.borrow if you're exactly equal to entity types lives mesh. So if you're equal to that, then I want to return an OK with the index inside. And if we reach the end of the screen, if we reach the end here, I want to bail and say could not find the we could not find the index of the lives left mesh entity. Yeah, that should be good. Okay, then we can call this down here. Do let index is equal to find index of you, hand it in the markers, and we have you. Does this ECS and Rust automatically parallelize the 4 across CPUs? No, it does not. This is all single threaded. I'm using ref cells, which are not safe for multiple threads. If I wanted to do that, which might be fun to do for like a future project, I would need to use arc and what is it? It's not RC, it's arc, and it's mutexes. I would need to use arc and mutexes. Okay, so we have our index here. So now we know which mesh is ours. We need to let the mesh here, it's going to be a data wrapper of a mesh equal to meshes index. I'm going to cast you. And then I'll show you, like, let's see. Then I want to like set you to be what I want you to be. Okay, so this is, by the way, this data wrapper is really just an RC ref cell. So I can now do a, like I can just shadow it again. You're gonna be a mesh dot borrow mute, which then gives me a ref mute of this mesh. Did I just pull in? Sometimes I pull in borrow mute from the wrong place, and that's not cool. Okay, so that should give me what I want. You should know what I am. Can't remember if I need the mute up there or down here. And then I should be able to. Why are you unknown? You should know this is a mesh. I loved Lua. I did a bunch of game dev type stuff in Lua and love 2D, the language. This is one of the reasons I really like GGEZ, because it's based upon Lua. Oh, sorry, based upon Love 2D from Lua. Okay, so then we're gonna do a dereference of mesh is gonna be equal to, oh, that's a problem. We're wrong thing. This is gonna be our new mesh. So mesh is gonna be equal to new mesh. There we go. And we need to pull you in. See. Yeah, you don't know what that is. Come on, Rust Analyzer, help me out. Really? Fine. Use GGZ, graphics. Okay, so you're fine. Let's go ahead and run this. So we have update lives remaining mesh. We're gonna head back into the main library. go down into our update and do updates, lives remaining mesh. You kind of need to be public for me. Let's try this again. Update lives remaining mesh. Pass it in a reference to self.world. Pass in that context. Unwrap you because the results are uncompatible with this return result. And now let's see if this works. Wait, I don't want to open up code again. Let's see, Asteroids. Try to go run. Okay, so we got 5 lives left there. We spawn. Oh, and we die instantly because, of course, I spawned right in the middle of the asteroid. We have 4 left. So let's try this again. 3 left. 2. 1. Okay, nice. Ooh. Trying to build a mesh with less than 3 vertices. So when there's no meshes left, I kind of don't want to like create a mesh. We just want to delete the entire thing from the world and then not update it anymore. So you don't know Rust well, and you're not trying to BBECS code, but should you be handling all those unwraps with a match? You're asking because you use a lot of unwraps and someone told you should handle those. Yeah, so it's a good question. It comes down to like philosophy in your programming. I would say that if you're writing a library, then absolutely they should all be handled and then like forwarded on to the calling code can handle this. Now in this case, for all of these unwraps that I have, it's because I'm using this is a trait event handler and it has to return a game result. But I'm returning, all of these are error results. They're different types of results. So I'm just unwrapping to crash at this point. And my philosophy is it shouldn't crash and it's my library. So it's okay here. And either the unwrap is gonna happen here or like essentially in main. And it's kind of would suck for me to like match on all of these just to like turn it into a game result, which I can't do anyways. So I think like in this case, an unwrap is okay. Oftentimes the sensible thing to do is crash. Yeah. So the question is like, this is my app, it's gonna crash. Now in BBECS, the ECS library that I'm making, it doesn't crash except in a very few locations. It returns a result that then crashes here due to the unwrap. That's usually my philosophy on it. And so like people who tell you, oh, you can never unwrap. I think that's a little bit draconian for coding with this. And it's this missing the point of what you're trying to like accomplish. So unfortunately we can't turn our brains off and just say, never unwrap. All right, so what do I want to do? If I have no mesh left, I want to delete. So in our update remaining lives mesh, if we have no lives left, so if this becomes 0, new mesh is this. So we need to get the index here. So I kind of want to put this down here. Wait, is that true? Yeah, I don't want to create the mesh early enough. We need to get the index. And then we can check to see if lives left is 0. Then I want to take our index and we're going to delete by index. So we're going to do world, delete by ID, and pass it the index. And I just return this. Turn okay like that, and we're done essentially. You need to be. Oh. It's delete by ID, not by index. I forgot that. Hold on. Oh, nice. Okay. So that person is doing Lua, C++. Nice. How do I want to handle this? I need to essentially not... I want to like just delete these and not have any more mesh, as it were. Which means that none of this is gonna happen. So like if this reaches 0, okay, so we want an early return. It's like we have a guard clause here if we have nothing. So if markers.length is actually if markers is empty. So if we're is empty here, we want to return okay like that. We're done. Now if so we need to add in another query here for the entity ID. So we have an entity in our BBECS. We have a entity ID there. Okay. Why can't you find it? Okay, so use BBECS. Oh, it's going to be right here in world. Entity ID. Okay, so we use entity ID. That's already a string slice. That's fine here. We have to get you out too. So that entity Ds is equal to query get entity.id you. Okay, so that gives me that. Okay, so if markers is empty, we're done. Because like it doesn't exist anymore. We don't want to do any more code, but we're not crashing. Now, if we get our index, then the other thing is if our lives remaining is 0. So if lives left is equal to 0, then I need to delete us at this point in time. So that's going to be and then we have access to that here. So we're gonna have to get our entity ID. So that ID, which is going to be a reference to a data wrapper of a U32. It's equal to entity IDs index. Cast you like that, and then we can borrow you and get this value out. So then we can do a world dot delete by ID. It's going to be dereferenced, and then we have to borrow it. And you return a result. After we delete you, we're done. So return okay. And then we can like update the mesh if we get past these guards. You're doing Unity, getting into their dots. Oh, their ECS stuff. Oh, cool. It's cool to see ECS and Rust. It's so similar. Interesting. Okay. That's good to know. I don't know very much about Unity. I've talked to a bunch of people that use it. I've looked at some of their code, but I've not really like looked into the framework at all. All right, let's try this again. All right, last one. Dang it, it didn't do it. Okay. Hannah called on okay, it's a new problem. Unwrap on an error value could not find the index of the lives left entity. Could not find this in a lives left entity. So this happened in update lives mesh line 53. So here, can I find the index of the lives left entity? So when do I call this? Do I call it before my guard? Oh, okay. So markers is never going to be empty because there's going to be other things with markers here. So that was a bad guard here. This really is going to be my, okay, I want you not to return a result. I do because of this. I want to return an option with a usize inside. And then here, so we're going to return an okay with a sum and an index inside of here. And instead of this bail, we're just going to return a okay, none. Now, yes, I know. Don't worry, we'll figure this out. So now we can do an if let. So first of all, I'm going to do an let index equals if, can I do this? If let some index equals u. I don't know if I've done this before. Okay, so we're gonna get this index out. If we find the index, we return this index out of here. Else, if we cannot find the index, we're done. We just return an okay like that, and we're good to go. I think that will do it. So in Rust, if you're not familiar with it, you can, if statements can be very functional, and you could just return from those blocks. Just in some cases are really nice. Okay, so there we go. Game over. The mesh got destroyed, so we're back to here, and I don't have the ability to like restart the game. We have to like sort of quit it, but that I believe now gives me display the number of lives left. So we're here. I know, yay, we can lose. Move the rocket ship forwards plus rotate. We have that. Can fire the gun. I decided to do more than 10 bullets on the screen at the same time. We're just it's just basically a timer that allows me to like have a whole bunch. Everything wraps around the screen. That's working. Bullets die after some time. Yes, but I want to tweak that a little bit. And where do I do that? Handle, respawn. Where's my like bullets? There's fire bullets. Reloading ticks left. That's how, okay. That's reloading. So like, that's how often I can fire. Oh wait, isn't it in my main library? It might be a resource. World, asteroid speed, asteroid seconds to respawn. No, okay, so I think unless I just do it directly in here. Yeah, okay, I didn't do that. So there's a system here somewhere. One of these systems has to do with our bullet, I think, because it's gonna delete them. Not handle respawn, not insert. Okay, level, we have mod. Let's make all of these don't help me, I don't think. I don't think they're particles. Oh, collide with, oh wait, is it gonna be bullets hitting asteroids? Do I do it in here? Here's I'm deleting the bullet if it's hitting. I think I do that anywhere else. I could just search for delete by ID and we'll find out all the different places. So we have update lives. That's in BBECS. So let's delete you. It's not right. It's you. The lives remaining mesh. That's not right. Where do I? When I create the bullet, I tell it how long it's gonna last. Maybe that's in a helper. Create bullet mesh. Insert bullet into the world. Oh, look at this. Ticks to live. 125. Let's set you to like 75 and sort of see how that feels. Okay. If I go to the left. So it will go across the screen. But like it feels better because now it can't ever go over what the player is. So that's good. I'm happy with that. And I'll just die. Okay, so then we're back to here. Got you. Asteroids travel on screen. We've got you. Display thrusters when moving forward. We got that. Asteroids can be destroyed. UFO was per level and UFO fires per fire. Don't have that. Oh, we have a rocket ship. Basically, we have everything except a UFO to antagonize the player and try to kill us. So we might have to deal with that next time. It is 8:23. It's after when I usually stop streaming. I usually stop around 8:15 in order for me to get ready to work, get to work, because I have an early meeting that I always have to go to. So I'm gonna go ahead and start winding down. And I'm gonna turn off the YouTube video here.